All we need is 1 cup of plain flour, 1/4 cup of butter, 1/4 cup of sugar, half a cup of condensed milk, about 1/3 cup of pumpkin puree. I boiled some pumpkin and then made a puree out of it. And we need about 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of baking powder and a generous pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and about a generous pinch of garam masala. You can only use cinnamon if you wish. I am using the normal garam masala, which is a special blend of spices. So let us start. Here we have our trusty little cooker. This is the idli cooker with 2 cups of salt, and this is the same salt that we used while making tricolor cake. I have baked over 20 times using this. This is going perfectly well. I have a stand also here to make the difference between the salt and the our cake tin, and we have a perforated plate which I am going to keep over it. Now I am going to cover this, and this is the idli cooker where we have a whistle like this. I am going to keep it loose, and if you are using a normal cooker, which you can of course do, you don't have to keep the whistle on. I am going to heat this up in low flame. Till then, let's prepare our cake batter. In this mixing bowl, I am going to add the butter. If possible, use the white butter and unsalted. Now using a hand mixer, beat this really well. This butter is soft and smooth. I am going to add the sugar. Cream this for about a minute or two, and if you are doing by a hand whisk, it might take 3 to 4 minutes. Now this is creamed well. I am going to add the condensed milk. Now cream this well. Now look at this. This is at the ribbon stage, or this is very thick, you can see. Now let's add the dry ingredients to it. Now into this add the vanilla. Mix this really well. Now into this sifter I am going to add the plain flour and salt, baking powder and baking soda. Sift this really well. Using a spatula, fold this really well. Don't use a whisk or a mixer now, because the cake might get hard if you whisk too much. So it's better to fold the ingredients now. Now let's add the 1/3 cup of pumpkin puree to this. In place of water, we are going to use the pumpkin puree, and if you require more pumpkin puree into your mixture, you can of course add more. Yes, I forgot to add my garam masala powder. I'm going to add that, about a generous pinch. So maybe we need to add a little more tablespoon of this pumpkin puree. Look at this light and fluffy mixture. This is ready. This is the consistency that we are after. Today I am making it thicker, and if you wish to add some grated pumpkin to this, that's also really exciting. You can add. I'm going to keep this aside and bring in my bundt pan. I have greased it well with some oil, and you can grease it with some butter if you wish. It's totally fine. Now as there are so many grooves, I think I need to add some maida to it, so that we are not on the risky stage, so that it sticks. So this is about 1 tablespoon of maida, lightly dusted all over. So our pan is greased well and coated well with some flour. Now as this pan has lots of grooves and this little thing in the center, we need to be careful and add this mixture, cake batter, into this. So I'm going to use a spoon and add this mixture. I have added our cake batter to this, and don't fill this more than 3/4, because that will come out and it will all be spoiled. So I'm going to keep this in our cooker, and make sure to pat it once or twice like this. Now let's add this to the cooker. Here we have our idli cooker, which is being heated, or we can say preheating, for about 5 minutes in the lowest flame. I'm going to open this. Be very careful, this is going to be really hot. Now let's add this batter to this. Let me cover this up, cook it fast, and in the low to medium flame we are going to cook this for about 25 minutes. It will be approximately low only, not medium. It has been 25 minutes and our cake is baked. Let us check. Looks yummy, isn't it? I'm going to pop this toothpick inside it. It's clear. Our cake is ready. We are going to pull it out. I have just pulled this cake out and it looks very good and very nice. We are going to wait until it cools down a little so that we can work on it. And of course we need to wait until it is completely cool so that we can work with our fondant and our buttercream. Here I have some buttercream frosting which we are going to use to cover our cake. We are going to use it as a glue for our fondant. So this is about 1 cup or so, probably less. Here I have some orange fondant, and of course this is homemade, and this is eggless, and of course this is vegetarian. And here I have some white fondant. So we are going to wait until our cake cools and then we are going to start working on it. Here I have about 25 grams of whipped cream, and in this I am going to add about 120 grams of white chocolate which is melted, and this is a combination of hot and cold, so make sure you stir well. Here I have my cake in a butter paper. I am going to add the mixture that we prepared just now. This has to go in the center. Now I am going to add some of these nuts. Here I have my cake on a turntable, or basically a bowl and a plate. Now I am going to cover this complete cake with some buttercream. Here is our cake covered with our buttercream. Actually I never worked with buttercream and fondant, so this is my first time. We want this buttercream just to stick with some fondant. So we are going to roll our fondant now. Now I am going to fill this area first. So first of all some more nuts. This will give a nutty taste inside. And here I have some whipped cream in a disposable icing bag. I am going to add this cream. Now I am going to keep this aside, and then we are going to roll out the fondant and cover this cake. Here you can see our fondant. I have colored this fondant into orange with some gel paste color, and now I am rolling it. And make sure to apply loads and loads of pressure here. We need loads of pressure. And I have dusted this area with some corn flour, which will prevent it from sticking. And if your fondant is a little hard, which probably happens many times, take a little bit of butter or shortening and then knead it out real good. Now we need to roll this fondant into very thin. Here my fondant is rolled and fine. You can see the thickness, not at all much thick, not at all less thin. I'm going to transfer this fondant into our cake. Be very careful, your fondant can break, and this has happened me thrice right now. Now we need to press from the top first of all, like this. First of all, what we have to do is, using a pizza cutter, make a first cut. Now as our excess fondant has been removed, I am going to transfer this table into a bowl, which will make it a turntable. Make the second cut right from the edge. The stem of the cake will be with the fondant itself. I am going to grease my hands with some butter, and then I am going to knead this fondant for a while. So make it like a little cylindrical, and then the bottom part try to do like this. If you do a little bit like this, it will be easier for you to make the base of this. So little bit like that, and now with your fingers, now this stem is going to be like this. Make it little thinner. Now you can see this is somewhat like a stem. Here I have our stem in our butter paper, and this looks okay to me. Now I am going to add our melted chocolate over it. Now this stays in the freezer for about 5 minutes. We are going to take some water and spread it on the bottom of that. Place it here. Here we have some choco chips and to make the eyes, of course. I'm not so creative here, so here I have someone to help me and make this eyes and the mouth here. So let's see what she does. Here we have our cake which is ready. Here we have our cake ready, our spooky pumpkin cake and witch finger cookies with some blood. For the recipe of witch finger cookies, you can click the link right now or click from the description box. Thank you for watching.